All right, let's talk about something that, well, most of us don't want to talk about: debt. But forget the spreadsheets and budgets for a minute. We're going to go deeper. We're going to look inside our own brains to understand the psychology that keeps us feeling so trapped.
Oh, yeah. You know this feeling, don't you? It's 3 a.m. You probably shouldn't have, but you did. You checked your banking app, and bam, there it is. That familiar, suffocating weight settling right into your chest. Another statement, another month where you're looking at the numbers and they just don't add up, no matter how many times you try to make it work.
And what does everyone tell you about this feeling? Well, society's got a really simple, kind of brutal story, right? If you're in debt, it must be because you're bad with money. You don't have enough discipline. Maybe you're even a little lazy. It's all on you, a personal failure.
But here's a thought. What if that's not the real story? What if you've been lied to? What if you're not trapped because you missed a budgeting class, but because your brain is under attack from a system that is literally designed to hack your psychology? So let's start by pulling back the curtain on what I call the debt lie. We're going to look at how the entire modern financial system is actually built to work against how our brains evolved.
Okay, so your brain is under attack. How? Well, to get this, we've got to dive into a little bit of neuroscience. We need to talk about something called the pain of paying.
Okay, check this out. This is fascinating. Neuroscientists put people in fMRI scanners to see what happens in their brains when they spend money. And when you pay with actual physical cash, a part of your brain called the insula lights up. You know what else the insula does? It registers physical pain. Your brain literally feels like it's been hurt. It's an evolutionary break. But, and this is the crazy part, when you swipe a card or tap your phone, nothing. That pain center is totally bypassed. Instead of pain, you get a hit of dopamine, that feel-good reward hormone. The system is rigged, you see. You get the immediate high of the purchase, and the pain, well, that's pushed off for a month.
But that dopamine hit, that's just scratching the surface. The real reason it's so powerful is because it's usually trying to patch up something much, much deeper. Something that was hardwired into your brain before you were even 7 years old.
Psychologists have a name for this: your financial blueprint. And it's not built on logic. It's built on raw emotion. Think back. Maybe it was hearing your parents arguing about bills through the wall, or that feeling of tension at the grocery store checkout, the shame of wearing hand-me-downs. These moments, they create what I like to call a ghost in your wallet. So now, as an adult, when you swipe that card for something you know you can't afford, you're not just buying a thing. A lot of the time, you're just desperately trying to make a scared inner child feel safe and loved. So you take those old emotional scars and you combine them with the very real, crushing stress of today. And what you get is this terrible, self-feeding downward spiral. Because the stress from debt doesn't just feel bad. It literally, physically, changes the way your brain works. It's a phenomenon known as the scarcity mindset. Think about it like this. If a tiger suddenly appeared on the path in front of you, would you be noticing the beautiful flowers? Of course not. Your brain would go into tunnel vision. All you can see is the threat. Well, financial scarcity does the exact same thing. It eats up so much of your mental energy, your cognitive bandwidth, that your brain can only focus on the tiger in the room. How am I going to make rent this week? And the cost of this mental state it's just staggering. Get this, researchers from Harvard and Princeton found that just worrying about money can temporarily drop your IQ by up to 13 points. 13. That's the same cognitive hit as losing a full night of sleep. The very stress of being in debt makes you less capable of planning your way out of it. It's a cruel trap. Now let's pour some gasoline on that fire. Social media. You know, our brains are ancient hardware. We are wired to seek social approval because for our ancestors, being kicked out of the tribe meant death. But today, we're not keeping up with the Joneses next door. We're trying to keep up with the influencers. The algorithms feed us this constant, curated highlight reel of other people's lives often funded by debt, and our primitive brain sees that and thinks, I'm falling behind, I'm losing status. It's an ancient survival drive that's now bankrupting us. And all of this leads to a really, really important psychological switch. See, there's a huge difference between guilt and shame. Guilt says, I did a bad thing. I made a bad choice. It's about an action. But shame is so much more toxic. Shame whispers, I am a bad person. I am a failure. And that's when debt stops being a math problem and turns into this soul-crushing personal humiliation. So,
What happens when that pain, that humiliation, just becomes too much to bear? Well, we start to do things that from the outside look completely irrational, but they're not. They're actually just desperate and totally understandable defense mechanisms.
I mean, be honest. Does that pile of unopened bank statements on the kitchen counter look familiar? Or maybe you've deleted the banking app from your phone just so you don't have to see the number. There's a name for this. It's called the ostrich effect. Your brain is literally choosing to be blind because your subconscious has a very simple logic. If I don't look at it, maybe it's not quite real yet.
Hiding from a piece of paper is one thing, but eventually that deep, gnawing shame forces us to start hiding from the people we love the most.
It's called financial infidelity. And it's not about cheating in a romantic sense. It's about survival. It's that secret credit card. It's ripping the price tags off new clothes before you get home. It's lying about what something really cost. You do it because you are absolutely terrified of being seen as a failure by the person you love. And lying, it feels like the only option. But the price you pay is this profound, suffocating isolation. Honestly, the worst part of being trapped in debt isn't the interest. It's the agonizing loneliness.
Okay, so that's the trap. It's dark, I know. But how do we get out? How do we escape this matrix? Well, here's the good news. If the trap is psychological, then the escape route has to be psychological too. This isn't about becoming a financial wizard overnight. It's about hacking your own brain. Let's look at the debt snowball method. Now, mathematically, it doesn't always make sense. You're supposed to ignore the interest rates and just attack your smallest debt first. Why on earth would you do that? It's simple. Psychology. Trying to pay off a huge student loan feels endless. There's no reward in sight. But paying off a tiny $200 credit card bill, you can do that in a couple of weeks. And when you do, bam, your brain gets that massive dopamine hit, a win. This method is designed to give you quick psychological victories to build momentum. And while you're doing that, you have to fight back against that frictionless system. I'm serious. Go into your web browser and delete your saved credit card info, unhook your card from Amazon, from Apple Pay, and give yourself one simple rule: a 24-hour waiting period on any non-essential purchase. You're basically reintroducing friction to give your logical brain a chance to catch up with your emotional one. But listen, all of those tactics, they're useless without this next step, and it is the most important one. It is radical, unconditional self-forgiveness. The shame has to end right now, today. You have to understand you didn't just stumble. You fell into a perfectly engineered psychological trap. This is not a flaw in your character. I really want you to hear this. Debt is just a temporary mathematical state. It's a number on a screen. It has absolutely zero to do with your value as a human being. And the moment you truly forgive yourself, that's the moment you can finally pull your head out of the sand, switch on the light, and see this whole thing for what it really is. Just a problem that can be solved. So I'm going to leave you with a question, a challenge, really. What is the smallest debt you will crush this month? I want you to look at your finances, find that one small number, and focus on it. Because making the decision to completely wipe that one thing out, that's not just a payment. That's the first step to taking your life and your amazing brain back.